Hello everybody, welcome back to Elite Weather. My name is Mr. G, your meteorologist. Thank you for joining me today as we talk about the weather forecast. So in today's video, we're going to be covering that storm that's currently affecting the eastern half of the United States right now, as well as the one that's coming into the northwestern half of the United States. So we got a storm on both coasts, one headed toward the east coast and one coming onshore at the west coast. Our city of the day is going to be Atlanta, Georgia, where we're seeing that line of thunderstorms right now that's moving across the south. We have an area of low pressure and that big cold front that's going to be sweeping through, and those showers and thunderstorms are moving into the Atlanta area as we're seeing that heavy rain out there. As we can see on our camera, the big raindrops on the camera lens there. So we're dealing with those heavy thunderstorms this afternoon. So that's what you're going to be seeing for the next 2 or 3 hours or so. If you're in the Atlanta or the Georgia, those are going to sweep across the entire state of Georgia, sweep across North Florida. Those storms will move into South Carolina and North Carolina and Virginia as well. And we're also seeing those thunderstorms moving across Tennessee and Kentucky and West Virginia, where we're seeing heavy rain through Ohio and into Pennsylvania. We're seeing that heavy rain and snow up through Detroit or Michigan, and we're seeing heavy snow over Wisconsin, northwestern Illinois, and Iowa, parts of Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, and southeastern Minnesota. We're also seeing that heavy snow, and in the west, we're seeing rain over over Oregon and snow in the Cascades Mountain Range. Some snow and some showers is taking place across the Washington state and Seattle and places around there. And we're seeing some snow into parts of northern Utah, the Wasatch Range, Salt Lake City, Ogden, and as well as the Weber Basin. We're seeing some snow over Idaho, so Boise, Idaho Falls, Twin Falls. We're seeing some snow showers through parts of Montana and Wyoming as well. So Cheyenne and Laramie. We're seeing a few snow showers over the Colorado area too. So eastern Colorado near the border with Nebraska and Kansas. Some snow showers is taking place in your area as well. So we have a lot of inclement weather over parts of the country. And if your weather is dry, doesn't necessarily mean that you're having good weather, because we're seeing some very high winds blowing across Texas and the desert Southwest. So high wind warnings is in place for those regions if you're not dealing with stormy or snowy weather right now. So we're seeing bitterly cold weather dropping down across the northern plains. So the Dakotas right now, Montana, Wyoming, northwestern Minnesota, and through the state of Minnesota and Wisconsin, we're starting to see those very cold temperatures. As we're sitting at 10 degrees above zero right now, we just a few hours ago, we were as far down as 7 above. So we finally got a taste of the bitterly cold weather, something we have not seen this winter, when typically New Year's Day or late December, right around Christmas to New Year's, is when we start to see those below zero temperatures here in Minnesota. We have not seen that at all this year. In fact, we were near in the 40s at Christmas, and we were in the 30s for New Year. So we had much above average temperature. The average temperature for this time of the year for Minnesota is 22 degrees here in the Twin Cities, where we've been well above that in the 30s, or even just over the last week or so, we had highs each day in the mid-30s, where we're right now sitting with a high temperature of 10 degrees. So this is the coldest it's been here, even in the overnight hours here, since the winter and the fall, because we had a much above average fall most of December we were in the 50s. So unbelievable weather thanks to El Nino, and the El Nino is certainly making its presence known with the track that the storms are taking, coming on shore and diving down to the south. The storms have been coming into the Pacific Northwest or onshore in California and dropping down to the southern plains in New Mexico and Texas and Oklahoma, and then sliding to the east along the Gulf Coast, and then heading up the eastern seaboard, either through the Appalachian Mountains or off the eastern seaboard over the Gulf Stream, headed toward the northeast. We've already seen one nor'easter this year. Our current storm, its track is more inland, and the upper level low pressure center is going to cross over the Great Lakes and Ontario, Canada, before heading offshore near New Brunswick and Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, before possibly affecting Greenland and Iceland. So that's what's going on with the current weather situation. Let's move on to our maps as we take a look at what's going on as far as the updated weather forecast for the remainder of the day. I apologize. This is the second take of this video. I posted one and the sound was absolutely horrible. Sounded like somebody was cutting my mic with a pair of scissors or something. It was like a buzzing sound. I apologize. I hope it's not doing that. I tested it before I started the recording and now a new recording, but I don't know what it sounds like until I look to it back. So I'll be sure to check the sound. If it don't work this time, then we're just not having a video today, because this is the second recording of that, and my camera's tripping all the time. I think it's just on where I stand. See, when I move over here, it clears up, but when I stand where I should be standing, where you can see the stuff behind me, it gets blurry from time to time. But next week, I will have a new camera and a new microphone. I'm going to have a nice, big, fancy video camera. This is not necessarily a camera this is more like a conference room camera. So the next camera I get will be a vlogging camera. So hopefully that will work out better. The colors will work better with the green screen, because I'm looking like the black Donald Trump here, all orange. But I think it has more to do with the colors that's coming from the live shot of Atlanta and with the color of the sky and everything right now. But anyway, let's move on with the rest of the video and talk about the actual weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow and the remainder of the day. All right, let's keep it moving with this update and talk about the forecast that's coming up for the remainder of the day, as far as this big storm that's moving across the east and the storm that's coming on shore on the west coast. So here's a look at our current storm system right now that is currently making its way across the upper Midwest and parts of the Ohio Valley, and we're going to be seeing it cross into Michigan soon in a couple of hours or so. That's going to be crossing over in Michigan, and then by tomorrow it's going to be over Ontario, Canada, near Toronto, and eventually near Montreal, and it's going to head on further toward the north and the east over the North Atlantic and over parts of Ottawa. Ottawa. So it's going to eventually make its way to the North Atlantic and Greenland and Iceland. So they can deal with that storm after we're all done with it, okay? So here's the severe thunderstorm threat that we're going to be seeing for today, again tomorrow, mostly over the southeast and Florida tomorrow, but today the severe weather threat is going to be across much of the Gulf Coast area. So from Georgia all the way to Louisiana and Arkansas today, but tomorrow that severe weather threat will slide up from South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia. So that severe weather threat will continue for your Saturday as well. And here we are to take a look at the current radar situation with my blurry camera. I just can't wait till I get my camera upgrades and microphone upgrades, because I'm sick of that buzzing, because I don't know when it's happening, because I don't know it until I forget to, let me listen to this and see what it looks like. I forget to do that. Then I'll upload the video, and then you guys are like, "Hey, the sound is bad. It's buzzing or doing this." So, and sometimes I don't know until you guys tell me. So this is a reload, a re-update, and we're gonna do this one again. So we'll see how it goes. So anyway, here are those thunderstorms as they're making their way across the state of Alabama, heading into Georgia right now. We're starting to see showers across Atlanta, but that main line of severe thunderstorms haven't quite made it into Atlanta yet. The good news is we're not quite seeing the tornado outbreak that we have seen with the last storm. If I'm being honest, I'm starting to see that this storm overall is showing some signs of weakening. So it appears to be weakening. So the severe weather threat seems to be a little bit less amplified with this storm. We're still going to be seeing lots of rainfall through parts of the Mid-South and the Appalachians and the Ohio Valley and into parts of the Great Lakes as well. We're going to be seeing that heavy rain and heavy snow. We're seeing that it's having some struggles getting the snow going over the northwestern fringes of the storm. So here over Minnesota, we have a lot of dry air in place at the surface. So any snow falling from the clouds above is evaporating before it's hitting the ground. So we're not seeing that snow because the column is not fully saturated yet, and we have a lot of dry air circulating into the storm from the southwestern side. We have a pretty prominent dry slot as well. So a lot of the snow, I think it's gonna be a bit less than originally forecasted, but we're gonna keep an eye on it as I think the storm is kind of getting choked off a little bit, and we might see lower precipitation totals than what was originally thought. So that's actually a bit of good news because we have not had any significant snow here yet in the Twin Cities, and it looks like if it keeps trending the way it's been trending, that is going to continue. Even despite the forecast where we're forecasted to pick up 6 to 8 inches of snow today, possibly through tonight and then tomorrow. It's possible that the snow could kick in later this evening and overnight, and tomorrow we could pick up some snow, but I don't think we're going to get 6 to 8 inches because I don't see any areas here to the west of us or near us that's seeing snowfall rates that were equal to that. So that's some good news. And then on the west coast, here is the other storm that's coming on shore with some snow over the Cascade Mountain Range. And you see those rain showers down here near central Oregon, central and northern Oregon. We're seeing those rain showers coming on shore near the Portland area. Let me step back so I'm not all in the camera. Seems to focus better, but then I look like Mr. Potato Head all up in the camera. So here's our severe weather threat today. It mostly was forecasted to be over Mississippi mostly and parts of Alabama today, where we're going to see that severe weather threat. I'm not quite seeing as much severe weather as the storm moves over into Georgia and over Atlanta. I'm not seeing the same type of storms that we saw earlier today and last night. So that is a bit of good news that it seems to be a little bit less robust now. So we're going to still see a lot of thunderstorms and some severe thunderstorms. And it's not to say that we're not going to see tornadoes now, but I think the tornado threat is going to be a little bit less. So that's some good news there. The severe weather threat will continue for your Saturday. We're going to be seeing that mostly over the southeast. But I do have to throw in a but. These storms are moving rather quickly, so there's a good chance that those thunderstorms will clear the southeast before the morning hours tomorrow. There's a good chance that the storms will clear out beforehand, that the backside, the front and the low will clear the area. So we may not see this come to fruition tomorrow. So we're definitely going to have to track it as these storms have been moving at 60 plus miles per hour, their forward progression. So these thunderstorms have been moving at highway speeds. Now, if we get regeneration, then that's a different story. But I haven't been seeing any evidence of that today. So it's a good chance unless there's a piece of energy that comes in on the backside that can regenerate thunderstorms tomorrow across the southeast, then we'll see that. But without that, a trigger, I don't think we'll see that. And I think that that really cold air is going to rush in rather quickly. I think that cold air advection is coming in really fast, so I think it's choking off a lot of the moisture supplied to the storm, that northwesterly flow. So again, here's those storms that are moving into the Great Lakes and into Ontario, Canada. Here is the next storm. We got one more storm to talk about that we're going to see that is going to start to moving into the Pacific Northwest on Saturday. Here is the winds that we're going to see as well. There is a lot of wind with the storm. Winds up to 60 miles per hour. It's going to be possible over the Northeast and in the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes and throughout the Midwest and the Southern Plains. A lot of high winds. We're going to see a lot of high wind warnings with winds up to 60 miles per hour. Here is the snowfall forecast. I think this needs to be adjusted, but I don't think if you're in this area, you're gonna get what you're forecasted. It's folks here that I think is gonna struggle. If you're on the northwestern fringes, like the Twin Cities is and Duluth, then I'm gonna probably trend down in the snowfall forecast for these areas. But Michigan, Wisconsin, you're going to get it. You're getting it. It's not going to get it. You're already getting it. So the snowfall forecast is going to hold for those areas. But Minneapolis and Duluth, Sioux Falls, and Fargo, I think it's going to trend a bit lower. Maybe even a lot lower. We'll keep an eye on it and see. Okay, so over the western United States, some folks are going to be picking up several feet of snow. The Wasatch Range in Utah is one of those places. So Salt Lake City and friends, the Cascades. So if you're in the Cascade Mountains from Oregon and Washington, you're also going to be a candidate for several feet of snow, probably in the 3 to 6 foot range. So we're going to be seeing the heavy snow in the mountains of the Cascades and the Wasatch Range over Utah. But we're going to see snow all over the northern Rockies and the Pacific Northwest. We have a blizzard warning over parts of Idaho. We have a blizzard warning over Iowa. Otherwise, a severe storm, a winter storm advisory, a winter storm warning, and winter weather advisories. The pink is winter weather advisory. The gray is winter storm watch. The blue is winter storm warnings. And winter storm means you're going to get 6 inches or more of snow in a 6-hour period. So 6 and 6. 6 inches, 6 hours. That's when you get winter storm. Okay, so we got some ice to talk about over the west and the Pacific Northwest. So Corvallis, Salem, Portland, all your guys going to be seeing that potential there for freezing rain and sleet. The worst thing imaginable is freezing rain. And in some areas, it's going to pick up, like around Eugene, you're going to get a ½ inch or more. So a ½ inch of sleet and ice and freezing rain. Whew, that's a lot. That's going to lead to a lot of power outages, a lot of personal injuries. So please be careful on the roadways. If you're going home from work or if you're working from home, that's great. But any activities you're doing, please be very careful, as walkways can be really slippery and roadways can be hard to stop and turn and do things like that. So please anticipate the dangers. Okay, so here we are with the wind chill advisories. That's going to be the biggest thing with this storm. On the backside, once this storm clears out, I mean, the cold air is already here. It's already moving in, and we have that wind chill warning over much of the plains, the high plains. So Nebraska, North and South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, eastern Colorado, Kansas. Right now we having winter wind chill advisories, wind chill warnings. We can see wind chills below 65, minus 65 below, 65 degrees below. We can see those wind chills across the high plains. We're going to see a wind chill advisory over Minnesota and Iowa and Wisconsin. It's really cold. It's really cold. This is the coldest air any of us have seen all winter. And we're going to get that cold all the way down to the south. Here is those winter weather advisories across the plain, that blizzard warning across Iowa and to parts of southwestern Minnesota, as well as South Dakota and Nebraska. We have a blizzard warning around Green Bay. We have a blizzard warning near Alpena, Michigan. So we're going to see winter storm or a blizzard across the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes today. All right, so here is some snowfall forecast over Wisconsin. We're going to start with Green Bay, where we can pick up as much as 24 inches of snow. Most of you are going to see 12 to 18. If you're further to the west, we're going to be looking at 8 to 12. So like Oshkosh and New London, 8 to 12. But Appleton, Pulaski, Green Bay, Brilliant, you guys are going to be looking at that 12 to 18 inches. And some of you folks might see as much as 24 inches of snow. So a lot of snow up in northern Wisconsin. Now down by Milwaukee, we have a winter storm warning in place. 12 to 18 inches for Milwaukee, Waukesha 12 to 18, Burlington 12 to 18, 8 to 12 in Racine, but a little bit lighter amounts, 8 to 12 in Janesville, Madison 8 to 12, Portage, Wisconsin 8 to 12, Watertown 8 to 12, Fond du Lac 8 to 12 inches of snow. So a real snowmaker here across Wisconsin. And in Michigan, you guys are going to see light snow amounts, 1 to 3 around Detroit. New Baltimore is 1 to 3. And somebody corrected me on the highway here. It's I-75 here. And I know that it's I-75 because 85 is on the other side of over Ohio. And so it's 75 down to from Detroit. And I believe that goes down to, please, the same person, Cleveland, near Cleveland, and down to Cincinnati, eventually to Atlanta. 75 goes down to Atlanta. So you're kind of taking that inside track up to Detroit here. So 1 to 3 for Detroit. Taylor's 1 to 3. Monroe is going to get less than an inch. Ann Arbor is going to pick up 3 to 5 inches. 5 to 8 inches for Brighton. So if you're further inland, you're going to see more snow. And in western Michigan, we're going to see a lot of snow. Some of the areas like Gaylord, Traverse City, you guys are going to pick up 12 to 18 in those areas. So a lot of snow over parts of Michigan. Now here's that darn cold air. So Saturday, we are going to be seeing forecast lows in the morning in the negative teens and negative 20s across the plains. Further to the south, it's going to be a little bit more moderated because the bulk of the cold air haven't hit there yet, but it's on the way. Negative 7 in Minneapolis in the morning, minus 13 in Des Moines. So Des Moines is going to be colder than Minneapolis. Minus 1 in Chicago. Kansas City is going to be minus 5. Wichita is minus 3. Durango, we're going to still see it above 0 across central Colorado and Utah and Idaho. Still going to be a little bit warmer. But check out Spokane at negative 6. Negative 27 in Billings, Montana. Casper, Wyoming is going to be minus 25. So a cold start to your Saturday, a very, very cold start. But you're going to have those highs not warm up much anyway. Minneapolis will get above 0, 13 above for your day on Saturday. 5 above in Des Moines, 27 above in Chicago, 21 in St. Louis. Wichita is going to hit 11. And we're going to see North Platte, Nebraska at 3. And Casper would be still stay below negative 4. And Billings negative 10. So you're going to have a very cold day for your Saturday. And the same for your Sunday. Sunday morning, those wind chills are going to be absolutely ridiculous. We're talking about 36 below in Bismarck. This is the wind chill. This is what the air feels like with a stiff wind coming from the northwest. Minus 24 in Minneapolis. minus 36 in Des Moines, so they are crossing into wind chill advisory category. Minus 26 in Chicago, wind chill advisory. Wind chill advisory for Minneapolis. We'll see a wind chill advisory in Wichita. North Platte, minus 22. Minus 30 in Pierre, minus 36 in Bismarck, minus 38 in Billings, Montana, minus 24 in Casper, and Denver will be not minus 15. So it's going to be cold as all get out. So the cold air is going to last through the 18th for sure and beyond. It's just this map goes only out to the 18th. And we're going to be seeing that bitterly cold air dropping all the way down to the Gulf Coast, Florida below average, Texas below average. It's not going to get above average until you hit the West Coast, California, parts of Nevada, maybe southern Arizona. It'll be where it will be above average. But everybody else, yep, it's going to be cold. Really, really cold out there. We have another storm that's coming in. And we got two different forecasts from the GFS, which is the American model, the Euro, which is the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecast. That's the Euro model. This is the one I like, and the Euro I think makes sense because even if you look at the current map where I showed what's going on the West Coast, you saw all the snow coming in over Oregon, but you didn't see anything over Washington, where the GFS has it coming in as far north as Seattle, but we're not seeing any activity over Seattle right now. So right now, the European model is winning. So I anticipate that the GFS is going to come around and fall in line with the European model. So, because that's how it's been, and the weather will keep doing what it's doing until something changes it. So that's what we're going to continue to see. So that's your weather forecast. My name is Mr. G. Thank you for watching me today. And I hope you guys have a great day. And I hope that the freaking sound is better. And I wish the video quality, the picture quality was better. But my stupid camera, I don't know. I'm not a whiz when it comes to this stuff. I just wing it. So if anybody knows if I can pay somebody, I don't know if anybody who to pay to help me do all this stuff. So I'm not making any money. I'm not close to getting monetized. So once I creep up and get subscribers and followers, and I get close to that where I can get, looks like I can get monetized, then I'll do all that stuff. But right now I ain't getting monetized. I could barely get double-digit people to watch my YouTube video. TikTok is way more reliable, easier to do it than YouTube is. YouTube used to be good, but they're making their qualifications harder and harder. But anyway, thank you for watching me. I hope the video plays great and it sounds good. I'm going to check it out before I upload it. And if you don't see a video, that's because it didn't record good. And I said, forget it. I'm not doing it again because I have homework to do and a lot of stuff to do for this afternoon. So, all right, guys. Bye-bye. Have a good day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.